Well, hello, welcome back. Thanks for stopping by. Actually getting started doing this whole Flosstube thing, getting back into it. Super excited. I know I had some plans. One of them was to do my focus on a finish and get it done within the next few days after my wet parade. Yeah, that didn't happen. Not surprising, I know. But got a lot of other plans. I did go ahead, spin the wheel for Fancy Lady Start. Dark Queen of the Sea. Actually excited to get back to that one. Debating on what I plan to do with that. I know I want to change the crown in it, and I should be on that section. I want to at least finish that section. It should be the antlers with the like little border corner pieces and the crown. And I'm not a huge fan of the gold as it is. I want to change it to silver. I want to change the look of the crown. Thinking of maybe trying to do a little swirly thing with the magic around the crown. We'll see how that goes. But that's what I've got to at the moment. And we'll check back in and hopefully within the next couple of days and show you where I'm at with whatever project I get started on. And here she is. Bit of an interesting thing about this pattern right now. Somehow when I downloaded each of the sections as they came about, I somehow missed the next section, which is like week 7, section 7, whatever. And this is her crown and the 2 little corner bits. If you watched my whip parade, I was talking about how I wanted to change the crown. And if you haven't watched my whip parade, you should go watch my whip parade. But thinking of changing the crown to silver, and then when I do these little corner bits, changing them to silver. I'll see if I have the ability to put a picture up so you kind of know what I'm talking about. Yeah, she's all the boobies. She's the boobies. Anywho, yeah. I mentioned in my whip parade, did the skull, but I did go ahead and put the blue kind of swirling back behind it because I really liked that idea. And so we're gonna get into the pattern. I have to download pattern or the next week, week 8 or section 8. I don't know if they did it weekly or not. I can't remember. But section 8 and copy the pattern from the pattern bit from the week before, which will be in color and not in black and white. And then I have to see if I can find the floss list for it. If not, I'm going to have to go through all the different things to figure out what flosses are supposed to be there, what colors. Because each week they only show the colors that are needed for that week. So this could be interesting. But once I get into it and get it figured out, I will let you know. Okay, so I thought I'd hop on here and do a little voiceover over a speed stitch. This is me working on Leap of Faith. I am doing the final feather up in the top right corner. A short segment. Really only wanted to talk about something that I wanted to tell you about during my whip parade. Completely forgot about. I actually, if you watched the previous whip parade, I had a whip called Fire and Ice. I forget who the company was that did it, but it was a horse's head done on black that was done in blues and reds. I started it back in like 2000, 2001, something like that. I started it because my sister had wanted it, and then for 20 plus years, I kept thinking, oh, I'm going to work on it, I'm going to work on it. And I got through the top 3 pages. There was 9 pages total. Got through the top 3 pages, pulled it out here recently, and looked at it and was like, I don't want to finish this. So I was thinking of like finding somebody that wanted it or something like that. And I pulled it out and was kind of looking at it, and this thing, just the top 3 pages, which would be the top third, looked like it was, to put in 2 more thirds, looked like it was going to be bigger than the length of the fabric. So I kind of measured it up. Yeah, the fabric was like 1 inch too short for the actual pattern, let alone having extra around it for framing. And so I just went ahead, I cut off the bottom part, so I have a little slit of, like 12 by 12 or so inch piece of black Aida that I can do a little stitch on. So then I pulled out the pattern, was thinking I could get rid of the pattern, but I'd started this back in, like I said, 2000, 2001, and I was new to cross stitching, really. I'd done little tiny kits and stuff like that, but that was it. So what I had started doing to, quote, highlight my stitches that I'd done was literally scribble them in with a pen. So yeah, half the pattern was not readable. And then the pattern itself was just falling apart. The pages and stuff, the edges where they were like stapled together, had worn down so much. One of the pages was falling out, and so it just was like, well, this just isn't worthwhile anymore. So I tossed that. Other than that, one thing I wanted to talk to you about, and I'm going to actually put up a picture in here, so you're going to not see the stitching for a couple seconds, but I think you'll live. This is what my floss storage looked like. Now I've been wanting to come up with something new. This floss storage system was actually really cool in my old place. My old place had a built-in closet. So when I opened the door, I would have that floss hanging on the inside of the closet, which was just a really cool place to have it. When I got here, all I could really do was put it up on the wall. And, I mean, it's kind of cool to have it there, but it just wasn't really working for me. They're all on these little command hooks, and I wanted something different. And then the way the floss bags hang on a ring, they just hang really funny and stuff like that. So I was thinking about how it'd be cool if it was like on a rod, like, your clothes are in the closet. And that developed into what I could possibly actually create on my wall. And we'll insert a picture here. That's what I ended up coming up with. So they're all hanging on the wall, and it looks a little bit neater, a little bit more organized. The floss bags there are like 10 different sizes, different shapes, just all these sort of different ones that have a little white bit on it so I can write the number on that, and others that didn't have that little white bit, so I have like cards in them so that you can actually see the number, because when you write it on the clear bag, you can't really see the number. So yeah, I want to do something with that to just probably at least buy all the same bags, and so that they're uniform. So other than that, I do still have several skeins that are missing from my master set. I've got through the 900s now, I think, but I am missing a lot of the like 3800s, so that's going to definitely fill up a lot when I actually get around to getting those. I tend to just get like 5 or 10 extras of ones I don't have whenever I like buy something off of 1-2-3 Stitch, and it works. It's it's 5, 6, 7 extra bucks, and tends to be okay to just add that to the cart. So I would kind of like it to stick out a little bit further from the wall, so that they could hang a little bit more straight down, but I was just really working with what I had and what I could get like really super cheap, like the wooden dowel rods that are 5/8 inch or something like that. I can't even remember. And they're connected by their like window curtains, the rod that would go across the part that you anchor to the wall. So it only sticks out like, I don't know, 2 inches or something like that. But they were like $1 or something like that. And then dowel rod's like $1. So it was just the super cheap way to set it up. So that's what I've done with that. Always still kind of looking to do something more with the entirety of the system, because my whips are like just all over the place. But that would be it really with what's going on with that. Having just recently kind of come back to Flosstube, I saw the whole dimensions thing, which I hadn't heard anything about. Was very confused about that, but I do have to say I hopped on eBay at one point because there's a dimensions kit that I've wanted, and it used to go for like 80 to 120, and I was always hoping to kind of find it for cheaper. And then I hopped on there, and there was only ever like 1, 2 available. Well, I hopped on there not too long ago, and there was like 5 or 6 available, and they were going for like 200, 250. Not that anybody's buying them, but I was just like, what on earth happened with this? I'm assuming that has something to do with it. Not knowing what was going on, I kind of got on, researched a little bit, and found that just, that they had been part of the Simplicity, which liquidated, and was add something, Advantis bought the kits, and originally they were talking, like they put out in the new catalog, that they were they had plans to make new kits and stuff coming up, but all that's really happened is that they've been selling out what was available. It might be that it's not cost effective for them, so like that's what they're doing. They might be struggling to what would you call it? Brain stopped. Manufacture. They might be struggling to get the manufacturer that they want, or to move over the manufacturing process to, say, their own spot or whatever. Who knows? They don't exactly let us know what's going on. I do hope it's not like the end, because Dimensions have always been my favorite kits. But, so that was something weird. There was something else I was thinking of. Oh! Okay, so I'm watching Flosstube, of course, because that's what I do. Somebody has this cool little, it's kind of considered a sampler, though I don't really consider them samplers, but it was saying something about just, may we live in less interesting times. So I searched around, found it. Turns out it was from Long Dog Sampler. I find it on the site. It's showing that it's a free chart, so it was one of the free charts that they put out. So I tried downloading it. It's not downloading, so I go on my phone and look, why isn't this downloading? So after like an hour, I finally come to find out that this thing was out for like a few days or whatever. That was it. And I'm like, okay, thank you. Like, they didn't put on their site anything that this was no longer available. I haven't been on Flosstube, so I didn't know that it was limited time. So anybody else that comes across it and tries to get it is just not going to be able to, and not have any clue why it won't download. So I was just like extremely aggravated with that, because it took me like an hour to figure out what was going on. And I mean, I have a Death by Cross Stitch from Long Dog, and they do really cool stuff, but like, I don't know how big of a company, but they're really popular in Flosstube land, in the cross stitch community. Like, why is their site like so, like, they didn't take down the page. They didn't indicate on there that the pattern was no longer available. So I was just like, what is going on that you, like, didn't even bother to, like, let people know this? So I was just aggravated by that. It was just a weird situation. Like, it's hard to explain. I get so just annoyed with those sorts of things. It's just one of those things. And also, I kind of worry when I see stuff like that because, like, it's like they're not keeping up on their site or something. And if that's the case, like, what's going on with them? Is something going on with them, you know? Maybe this is the case and it's always that way, and they've never really properly maintained their site, and I haven't been on it enough to be able to tell you that. If that's the case, then they're just being them. If that's not the case, then, you know, why are they suddenly having this issue? You know, is something going on? And you have to wonder about those things in today's times. I mean, that's what the pattern said. May we live in less interesting times. So, anyways, just a few random things, a few random thoughts. Nothing big, nothing major. The clip is about to end, so I guess I can't really think of anything else. This is just what it was. Hopefully it'll be semi-interesting to listen to. You can watch me stitch. Other than that, you know, is what it is. We'll move on to the next clip. Hey, just jumping in because I got something to show you. I finished it. One of the first times I've finished something in quite a while. But I finished it. So we're going to put up here, spinning wheel, new project. Dancing in the rain. Actually looking forward to finishing this one, so gonna go get her pulled out and we'll see where we get to. Okay, so I'm jumping on here real quick for a little stitchy haul. Most of the time I won't have much of a haul. I've got plenty of stuff and I've got no money, but I did pick up a couple of things, and unfortunately they're going on my new starts wheel, so I wanted to show you what I got real quick. First up, Banner of Benevolence. Saw this on, I think I saw it on a couple people's Flosstubes, but I'm not generally much of a patriotic 4th of July stitcher, and I'm kind of in the same boat with a lot of people where just don't feel very patriotic lately, but this one was really, love the sentiment on it. Definitely much more in line with what I think we should be doing. And I was watching someone else, and it's like, patriotism shouldn't be about putting flags up in your yard and deciding who can and can't be part of America. We need to bring back patriotism to what it really should be, which is us working together and compromising, which, let's face it, America has always been at its best when we've been compromising with each other. So, picked this up. Went through my stash. Found this. That's raw opalescent Belfast 32 count. I have several other like brownish colors, a little bit more closer to this. None of them were big enough, and this is just a little too like primitive-ish style for me. Just not my thing. Look at all the other stuff I stitch. So I also changed the colors. The colors on this though were really cool, because when you look at the real colors, they're like kind of a, like, the red is kind of a pinky dirty rose type of red, and the blue had like a bit of teal in it, so it's like a really, really cool color thing. But I didn't notice all the little stars in there, so we'll show you the color palette that I picked up. Yeah, it's in a little baggie. I just got a slightly darker red, and the blue I chose was a little bit darker, more of your typical blue, but a little bit brighter, along with just the regular bright white, because I want it to be seen up against the fabric. And then I got into the stash and pulled out the DMC light effects, which I know is kind of a pain in the butt to stitch with, but like it, that'll be really cool for the stars, in my opinion. And this is opalescent, which hopefully you're seeing. So that's that one, and that's going on my new starts wheel. Next bit of stash. Got some new fabric. This is from Oblong Meow. 18 count Ada. And it is bright. It's called Dragon Snot. I was looking for something that was kind of in line with Absinthe, the drink. Wanted that green. Came across some close. Think not quite, but it'll work. And I bought this to go with this. This is Old Salem Apothecary. Isn't that cool? This is from Stitching Jewel Designs. I am calling this my Colorado project. Why? Old Salem's non-Colorado, right? Well, Stitching Jules is in Denver, Colorado. Oblong Meow is in Pueblo, Colorado. And you head a little bit more south, that's where I am. So, designer, fabric dyer, pattern stitcher, all in Colorado. So, this is my Colorado project. Might not make sense to most people, but that's the way my brain works. I was actually going to be mean and keep this in the plastic and force you to listen to the plastic crinkling, but I decided to be nice. Anywho, another one for the stitching new start wheel. Okay, so a bit of quick stitchy project update. Got the antlers of sorts on her. I am loving this with the white hair. Like, these just look amazing. I have the crown and the corners. Let me grab my flosses real quick. Okay, first up, this is flosses that went into here, and we'll go on this piece. I'm changing the bits around that are the gold yellow to silver. I'm using this gray, and then I have this silver that I'm just going to kind of weave in with it, just to give it that more silver look without fully just being metallic. And then not only do I have those, but I have all of these that I pulled out to possibly put together a crown. Picked, you know, cool gray that I like. I've got another one of these, which I just would pull from the other one. There's a couple of DMC metallics, treasure braid in a silver color. Of course, there's always beads floating around that I can look through. I had looked through the beads and I found one really cool bead that I wanted. That'd be like center stage, but it was just too big, so we're working with that. I want to take this blue and kind of follow it out here and then kind of swirl it around the crown, kind of this like she's defeated the prior, you know, king or queen of the sea, prior leader of the ocean, you know, and she's defeated him, and the magic of the ocean is bestowing upon her the new title of, you know, queen, the ruler of the sea. So that's what my brain is thinking, and we'll see if I can accomplish that or not. Okay, so let's talk about my new start, what I call Red Dragon, or just Dragon written right there. The floss. There he is. Isn't he cute? And there's the start so far. Ooh, you can see my shadow. My lighting in here is just horrific right now. Sorry about that. Trying to get it in a slightly better position. Anywho, started this, was definitely absolutely loving it. Most of my full coverage tends to be much more confetti heavy, and this has got a lot of block colors, you know, which is just great. But I'd done quite a bit on it, and I decided to set it aside, get back to working on Dark Queen of the Sea Sow, which I'm working on right now, and we'll show you a bit of that after a little bit. But so I went and I grabbed this to put it up, and I had it out, and I went and I folded it, and I was like, wait a second, this part here is supposed to be the lower right hand side. It's supposed to be, you know, cut in quarters here, and it's starting, I think, somewhere in here. Not completely sure. Yeah, it looks like it's probably right in here. But this, when I fold it in half, well, this is the top of it. So I pull it out, and I look at it, and I can't get it all in the frame for you, probably. Sorry. We'll do what we can. But that's the fold line for the half. So I would have center started, right? Except that's not a center start. That's clear up here. The fabric, when it came in, had been folded like that with the quarter. And I pulled it out, and as you can see, I folded it in half, and then I folded it in half this way to find the center. And then when I went to start it, I accidentally mistook this for the center. So I got out, and I, you know, was trying to find the size. That size, by the way, is literally the size of the Ada. It is not the size of the actual pattern. So I had to go and figure it all out. Discovered that if I were to continue stitching on this, it would go all the way up here and just a little bit up there. Like, just, well, no. Go all the way up here. Like, this does not have much margins on it. It would go like all the way up here to just below here. Not just above, just below here. So it would fit, but I won't be able to do anything with it. So, needless to say, this all has to come out. And I'm not really sure about, like, floss-wise for this kit or anything like that. It's difficult. It's really nice soft floss, but it does kind of fuzz up pretty well, quite a bit more in comparison to, like, DMC, which is fine if you just use it once. I have a feeling running it through twice, isn't gonna work though. So, needless to say, I'd be done with this right now. I will need to go back and pull this out, try again. Hopefully we'll still have enough floss. Again, hard to say, but we're gonna put this aside for a little while. It does need to go on my wheel of like all projects. I don't think I've done that yet. Maybe then it'll be a fix-it type of situation. So, we are going to start a new project. And let's put that wheel in up over here in the corner. And we have Apothecary shop. Now, I'm excited. I can't deny that fact. I'm excited because I do have stuff sitting over here because I would have just filmed my haul. So this is a brand new one. Brand new on the wheel. And it picked it. And I am excited for it. I found this pattern and just absolutely loved it. I absolutely love stitching Jules. I've got another project of hers going. So we will get started on that, but I think I'm going to hold off on starting it for a little bit. I want to work on Dark Queen of the Sea Sow for a little bit first, so honestly, that's probably what I'll be showing you next. Hopping on here real quick. Got one thing to show you. A little bit of talkie. It's about all the wheels and all of that and the projects that I have set up. And it's been a little bit that I've had all of them, and I haven't touched a couple of them, and I haven't started the new start yet either. So I'm just kind of starting to feel like maybe it's a little bit too much. So I think what I'm going to do is keep all 5 wheels, but I'm only going to have like 3 of them. 3 of them. Like kind of on the go at the same time. So it'll probably be Dark Queen of the Sea Sow, the new start, and I think maybe Time Goes By, try and get in those 1,000 stitches. Then I'm not going to worry about Janessa or the Focus on a Finish, which is Dancing in the Rain. Hopefully, once I get either to a certain point in Dark Queen of the Sea Sow, I will stop and move on from there, perhaps to like Dancing in the Rain, or actually move on to Janessa, which I actually really do want to work on. I just haven't had the little stitchy bug for it. I think I just really saw, you know, the new start and getting back to Dark Queen of the Sea Sow, and just got a little bit more interested in those. So, but it'll kind of go on a little bit more of a rotation. So, but other than that, do have something I want to show you. It's about Time Goes By. Sorry, stuff is over there. That's why I keep looking over there. You can't see it. I can see it. Okay. This probably doesn't look like anything to you. Time Goes By. My floss was originally in a 3-ring binder, and it was big and it was bulky, and it was kind of driving me nuts. So I pulled it out. I took the spine of a 3-ring binder that is like 1.5 inches rather than 3 inches, and I just kind of added this fabric. It is sewn on here, though you can't see it. I had to hand sew it, of course, but it just rolls out like this, and this opens. I do kind of want to like maybe put like a zipper on it or something. So I just kind of flop it over here and connect it and zipper it. It would have to be like a coat zipper, you know, one that comes apart into two sections. But for now, I just kind of fold it over and then roll it up. But this can actually flip all the way up. And there they all hang. And then I can just kind of flip through them to get to the ones I want. And I do have them braided, just to keep them a little bit more manageable, I guess. Sometimes I have issues like pulling them through, but usually I can kind of get a single strand to go through. It's still a little bit clunky, but it's not as space intense as the other one, and it still allows me to kind of flip through things. So we will see how that goes. Hard to say. Haven't really used it much because I haven't really put any stitches in on time goes by, but so yeah. Anyways, that it's easier to do, of course, laying it down, but I can just kind of right now just kind of fold these over on itself and then roll it up from the bottom. Again, I will need it to be lying there. I sewed up because it was really long, and I think I sewed it up just a little bit too short. Just a little bit too short. But it is what it is. I can always pick it out and redo it if I really want to. I don't think it really matters that much. So let's see if I can roll this up real quick. And there we go. I could get like something that, you know, wraps around and like a ribbon or something, but yeah, it's mostly just, you know, what I want to do here. Like I really am thinking like a zipper on each side, and then I can just zip it down, disconnect it, and fling it open, and then when I want to, I can just flip this over, zip it up. But probably going to use it a little bit as is, just to see if I like the way it works and stuff like that. This is unfolding on itself because I half unfolded it. That's the downside. Reason why a zipper would be probably pretty nice. But that is where that is at. Like I said, just wanted to show you real quick. This is actually a denim fabric. I got it in a lot of, just a bunch of different little fabrics, and it wasn't very wide. It was basic. It was this width, the width of this when I opened it up. That was the width of it. And I serged. Did I serge the edges? No, that's not my serger. It came with the edges serged, I guess. So, don't ask me why. You get fabric in all sorts of unique, just what people want to do with their fabric. Some people like to have all their fabric edges serged. Some people pre-wash everything. Some people don't. It's just all, it's all up in the air. Anyways, as I said, wanted to show you that. Gonna go ahead and leave it here, and probably will be showing you a little bit of Dark Queen of the Sea Sow up next. Okay, so my Stitchy Plans may have been a little bit derailed. Got this Stitchy creative bug. Have been wanting to do a couple new temperature charts to put up on my Etsy. One just finally was like coming together. It's fairly similar to my other one, so not a huge amount to come together, to be honest. But I'm also going to have another one that I'm working on as well. So, yeah, working on this. Don't know how much of it you can see. We'll probably try to put a picture of just where I'm at. It's mushrooms. This is a fairly bold fabric, but I want to get a like stitchy copy done to actually put in the listing. I did the mock-ups for the listing. They look really cool. I've got new color charts. I've got pastels. This one I'm doing is in earth tones. I can't wait to see what it looks like, even on the crazy fabric. I do have it up on my Etsy right now, but I am wanting to add kind of an additional, if you're wanting something a little more than just the basic. The basic is nice. Some people don't want to stitch all the extra stuff. They just want to stitch the colors. That's what makes these patterns great. But I do want to do something extra. I want to like put the month below it and then do like a border around it. So kind of almost like a book page where it would say, you know, the plants, you know, what the plant was underneath it and stuff like that. But we'll have to wait and see, you know, how that goes. And how long that one takes me. The designing of the border is, I'm wanting to do a little bit more research on what type of look I want the border to have. And I am thinking of doing it all in backstitch. And yeah, I know a lot of people don't really like backstitch. I like backstitch. I do. But yeah, so anyways, stitching, now plans, get this done, because that's what I want to do. That is what I want to work on. But because of that, it's been 2-3 weeks since I first started vlogging for, I guess this is kind of season 2 of my Flosstube. Season 2, episode 1. It's been 2 or 3 weeks. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this one here, and we'll start the next one, seeing, you know, what progress is made on this, where I'm getting to, and then hopefully be able to move on in the next one back to some of my stitchy stuff. I want to work on Dark Queen of the Sea. I want to get Apothecary shop started. Like, I'm so looking forward to all of those, but this just kind of took precedent for me, so those things happen. Anyways, go ahead and do all the things, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you in the next one, okay? Bye.